I honestly do not think that right now that adoption is an option for me. Before this year, I was open and willing to accept a child, nurture a child from anywhere, give the child a home. Yes, if you've been on my channel, you would understand that I have just one child for now who is currently 9, going to 10. You know, I was willing, even this January, I talked about adoption, bringing a child in. Unfortunately, at this point, I am not sure that I still want to do that. Yes. Especially yesterday, the minute I saw a video on Badigo's TV's channel, where she talked about, in fact, she did not talk about that. She played the video from beginning to the end. The content of that video was just heartbreaking for a young child, a 14-year-old Emma Christ, talking about his encounter with his adoptive mother. I am using past tense because he actually took the life of his adoptive mother, 71-year-old woman, Emma Christ, 14-year-old boy. Listening to the story was just having me thinking about a whole lot. Because from all his accounts, the adopted mother treated him so well. The woman adopted this child when he was just 1 year old, and they've been together all along. And guess what? She put this boy in a boarding school, secondary school precisely, because the boy was sent to Evergreen Academy in Delta State. Is it Delta State or Edo State? One of these states. After some time, she brought the boy, I think, back to Lagos to start staying closer. The boy said, because there was nobody staying with this woman, so she decided that they bring the boy back to where she was staying, enroll him in a school close by. So one of the days, this boy's friend by name Gbenga told Emma that he was adopted, that he should go and look for his mom and his parents. And Emma went back home, approached the 71-year-old adoptive mother, asking that he would like to see his own parents. The woman was like, "Who told you that you were adopted?" He said, "Gbenga." And the adopted mother took Emma to Gbenga's house. But guess what? Gbenga's mother was actually an ex-student to this Emma's adoptive mother. Are you getting the story from where this thing leaked? So Emma's mother, took Emma to Gbenga's house to confront Gbenga. When she got there, she asked Gbenga, who told Emma that he was adopted? Gbenga said he did. He told Emma that he was adopted. He said, okay, how did you know that Emma was adopted? Gbenga told the woman that Gbenga, saw the woman when she took Emma from the orphanage home to his house when Emma was just 1 year old. You can imagine. And who is Gbenga? How old is Gbenga? That is the question. Gbenga had just finished his SS3, according to Emma. Gbenga, his friend, had just finished his SS3. So guess how old Gbenga is? Gbenga should be less than 20 years old. Yes. So how did Gbenga know? Possibly when Emma was just that 1 year old, Gbenga, who is probably 20 years old at the moment, could be around, let's say, 6 years or 5 years. So how did a 5-year-old know that adoption, this person did not give birth to this person? Or how exactly was he able to have concluded that he saw Emma's mother, walked into the orphanage home, collected Emma, and then took Emma home at age 5 or 6? Do they even know what adoption is? Remember, Gbenga's mother was an ex-student to this 71-year-old woman that Emma, her adopted son, silent. Let's go on. All right, so for the past 14 years, Emma and the 71-year-old mother, they had been together without no problems until lately when Gbenga revealed the secret that the adoptive mother was meant to reveal to Emma precisely. So Emma reported that one of the evenings he went to buy Gary. As he was coming back, the mother, because Emma calls this woman that passed his mother, of which, from every indication, it should be. He said the mother approached him and said, "Why did you go to buy Gary when she was cooking at home?" And he said, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that was it. He said, at that process, that was when the woman was like, "You should go and look for your mother. I am not your biological mother." Emma said he pleaded with the woman to say, "Okay, let me stay, blah, blah, blah." The woman said, "No, go and look for your biological mother." This was Emma's own account. We did not hear from this woman. Before somebody could say something like this, somebody who sent you to private school, boarding schools, for that matter, be nurturing you from 1 year old until you turn 14. The person obviously meant so well for you. For the person to open her mouth to say, "Oh yeah, go and look for your mother," you don't know how Emma has been pressurizing her. How bitter she must have become, or disappointed. Emma reported that one of the days he went to church, he slept in the church. You can imagine this woman also brought up this boy in a Christian way for him to have gone to church. He said there was this 31 days prayer program going on in the church, that little Emma, had to go to church and did not come back. He slept in the church. Then the next day, being Wednesday, he came back to the house, and he actually planned to go beg his mother. Unfortunately, and he hid somewhere. The adopted mother did not know that Emma, was already in the house. He went upstairs, in their GP tank, emptied the GP tank so that the water would be dropping, so that the woman would come up. In that process, the woman went upstairs looking for what was happening, not knowing that Emma was already up there. Emma healed himself. And then when this woman came up, Emma pushed her. And guess what? She fell, and that was it. Emma, this little brat Emma, said that the woman died at the spot. This was her reward for adopting and giving Emma a home. Accepting Emma as his own child, sending him to all the private boarding schools. This woman probably had a bigger dream for Emma. I will tell you the position of this woman, her work experience so far. You would even pity her. So can you imagine what Emma said that made him to push this woman to her end? Was because she told him that she was, or she is, not his biological mother. Besides, that was what Emma was looking for when Gbenga told him that blah blah blah, Mrs. This is not your biological mother. Go and look for your mother. So the woman had to let out by telling him, "I am not your mother. Go and look for your mother." And it must have taken much pressure on this woman for the woman to have said something like that to this boy. And guess what? Immediately Emma pushed this woman. Emma went and called a neighbor. Their neighbor came up, and then they used the woman's phone. Guess who unlocked the woman's phone? Emma said, "I know my mother's password." You can imagine the relationship. It's just like me and Somto. Somto can unlock my phone because he is my son. So that was just the same. For this woman, Emma knows the password. Imagine the relationship they had if Emma has access to all them stuff. And then the neighbor used the phone and called the police, who came and took Emma away. Okay, suddenly, to tell you how naive this 14-year-old Emma was or is, he was asked, "Who taught you how to arrange that plan of opening the GP tank so that your mother would come upstairs?" He said it was Gbenga, his friend, the boy who just finished SS3. I think that boy is possessed. And guess what? Up until this time, Gbenga is on the run. I don't think they have apprehended him, because he stated that he has not seen Gbenga since that incident happened. Okay, did you not think that if you do this to your mother, who is going to train you? He said he was worried at a point, but he decided to do that because there was another family friend who could put him in school. He was just talking like a child, unfortunately. Now, guess the status of this woman, the late 71-year-old woman. She was a retired teacher who later became the director of education, Lagos State. Imagine. So for a woman in that status, director of education, Lagos State, you can imagine how she must have accepted this boy. But okay, she enrolled him in two different schools. One was a boarding school in Delta State, and then she brought him back to Lagos so that he, Emma, would be staying very close to her, being that she was alone. Because Emma said the mom has no husband. Maybe the husband was late or something. I don't know. Emma said no husband. So this is obviously a tragic story of a woman who accepted a stranger into her home, and opened her heart to say, I have a son. Now the neighbors around started sniffing. You can imagine what played out here. Gbenga's, should I blame Gbenga's mother? It is obvious. Because this woman, the 71-year-old woman, must have told Gbenga's mother, look, oh, blah, 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 because they live on the same street. For Gbenga and Emma to have been friends, that means they live in the same area. People would not mind their business. Possibly this woman was waiting for Emma to turn 18 before she could open up and tell her everything. Though there is no time that is right for you to tell an adopted child that he or she was adopted. But they said you can tell a child that he or she was adopted when you think that this child is mature enough to understand things, to reason along. You start telling the child, not until the child gets to 18 and becomes an adult. You can tell 10-year-old, 2 years old, you start talking to the child about this. Possibly the late mother didn't know about this, but she was a teacher, a higher one in that matter. I wouldn't know what she was planning or when she was hoping to open up to Gbenga that she was adopted. And even if she meant to um, keep this as a secret all her life, I don't think it was right for her to have opened up to people if she ever did, to have opened up to people around her if she ever did. I cannot judge her because I was not there with her. I never knew what she was planning. But it is very, very sad because from Emma's story, you would see that the woman never meant bad for Emma. The woman actually took Emma as her own child. If you want to hear Emma owns account, go to Banigos TV. Banigos TV actually played the full video where this boy narrated the incident, how it happened. The boy is so, should I say, wise. And the woman actually let him have a free hand because he had an upper hand in the house, dictated what he wanted, when he wants to eat, when he goes to bed, because he mentioned that he wheezes in bed and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't eat so time and he has a routine when he eats. And the woman allowed that to happen. He has his own money to go buy whatever he wants. Obviously, the woman accepted him as her own child. Unfortunately, this happened. Anyway, guys, I am really, really scared. Yes, but I am not discouraging anyone who would want to adopt a child. If I have my way too, definitely I would still go for it and pray. Maybe immediately you bring in the child at the age of 1, you start telling the child you are adopted. But you also pray that the child would understand the meaning of adoption at that early stage, less than 10, when you begin to talk about adoption the child may not understand all that, but this is a difficult situation, to be honest. It's a kind of discouraging situation. It's just like this Nancy that did surrogacy. Somebody, a neighbor, or any of us on social media who have heard the story, walking up to the child when the child grows up to say, hey, do you know what? Nancy is not actually your biological mother. Nancy did not carry you in her womb, blah, blah. You will go explain yourself, attire. This is what a lot of people do back home. Gossiping, they don't know the outcome of it. I don't know how Gbenga's mother, what she might have said to Gbenga, the extent she must have elaborated and expatiated this adoption of a thing. It was Gbenga planning to inherit this woman's property or something? I wouldn't just know. But let's be realistic here. Do you think that a boy, Gbenga in question, who was about 6 years old when Emma was adopted, knew exactly what adoption was? If not, somebody was, feeding him with all of this. It's really sad though, because this is the way I see it. Somebody must have gingered and blah blah blah. So it's obviously a sad incident. People should learn to mind their business and let people live on their own. Thank you once again for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep coming back for more.